Hey there! Thanks for tuning into Duckbricks. I'm Chris, and today we're going to be taking a look at every single Easter egg and reference hidden inside the massive LEGO Monkie Kid City of Lanterns. Now, the City of Lanterns is almost like a junior Ninjago city, in that it's basically built pretty much the same way and is packed chock full of references to older LEGO themes, discontinued LEGO products, Monkie Kid storylines, and even hidden nods to the LEGO designer himself. Without further ado, let's just jump right in because there is a lot to get in here, and for the Bionicle and Construction fans in the audience, hoo boy, is there a lot of goodies in here for you. Alright, so here we are with the fantastic Monkie Kid City of Lanterns set. This is obviously one of the largest and best Monkie Kid sets ever that honestly feels like a more juniorized version of the massive Ninjago city sets. While of course this is not meant to be in the modular building system, it obviously is nowhere near as expensive and large as some of those other sets, it honestly kind of retains a lot of the same design principles and feels like a true expansion to a large city style set. And of course, much like the Ninjago city sets, this is packed full of references. References to the Monkie Kid show, other LEGO themes, old LEGO themes, discontinued stuff, all sorts of really interesting things to see here, so let's just dive right in and get started. We're going to be working basically from the top down here because there's a lot of hidden levels and layers to this that isn't immediately apparent just from the outset. So let's just kick things off with kind of taking a look at this side over here. So, immediately, the first thing that you may notice is that there is a specific sign here. This features a minifigure waving with the 90 letters on the side of it. It is because this year is actually the 90th anniversary of the LEGO company. And this figure in particular used to be kind of the mascot for LEGO back in the day. And actually, we will be getting a 90th anniversary celebration set based off of a vintage LEGO theme later this year. We don't know the exact theme. There was a bit of a fan vote on ideas last year to decide that. We don't know who won or if LEGO will even pick the right winner, but it is either going to be Bionicle, Castles, Space, or Pirates. So you can see here, this is a nod to the 90th anniversary celebration that LEGO is celebrating this year. Moving on downwards, we have a reference to this year's wave of Monkie Kid sets in particular. This in particular is the Changi minifigure. She appears in her own feature set with Monkie Kid, and you can see here featuring the Moon Biscuits and the bunny rabbits that appear in the same set that she actually is featured in. Obviously here the text is saying Mooncake, advertising Changi's Mooncake stuff, and this is not the only reference we're going to see to this character and other recent Monkie Kid editions. Moving on outwards, you can see right here we have a Panda convenience store. This is actually somewhat of a staple of the Monkie Kid sets because previously we actually got a full-on Panda store in the Red Sun's Inferno Truck set from the very first wave of Monkie Kid sets. This actually seems to be pretty much using the same exact styling with the teal sign, the red lineage, so it really seems to be just another franchise branch in the same exact Panda store retail location that is somewhat prevalent throughout the Monkie Kid lineup. As we rotate the store around, you can actually see this is fully removable, so what's really nice is you can remove each of the individual buildings here. Moving on backwards, it's a very basic setup. You just can see some detailing here and there. However, the inclusion of the frog is actually a nod to LEGO designer Nick Voss, whose signature piece to include in LEGO sets is the frog piece. And this is not the only frog you're going to see in this set. Moving onwards to the actual LEGO store here, this is probably what features the most references to older LEGO themes and designs pretty much throughout the entire set. First of all, the dragon, which can be seen here and is fully articulatable, is actually the icon or mascot of LEGO stores. Many flagship LEGO stores like the one in Leicester Square in London, as well as the New York LEGO store, feature the Ollie the Dragon massive large-scale dragon build, so it makes sense that some large-scale LEGO set or large-scale LEGO store in the LEGO world would feature him as a mascot as well. This is a mascot that dates all the way back to the early days of LEGO and Legoland, which is really interesting to see actually featured in a standard retail LEGO set, and of course is a nice callback to LEGO history in general. Moving backwards though, this is where we get a lot of the real heavy references to other LEGO themes. As you can see, there is a bit of a display inside the LEGO store there, and there are very clear boxes that you can see featuring specific sets. This set right here is from the LEGO Paradisa line. It is specifically the Poolside Paradise set. This is from a somewhat sub-theme of LEGO Town that was obviously predating LEGO Friends and Belleville or anything like that. It essentially was a more girl-oriented style of building, but still set within the LEGO Town sub-theme, hence Paradisa. You can very clearly see that is supposed to be the Poolside Paradise set. It is a classic LEGO set, a very vintage one, but a lot of people really like this set, myself included, and of course it makes sense to include it in this retail display. Moving onwards to over here, we have one of the classic LEGO pirate ships. It's a little bit hard to make out based on the coloration alone, but this is actually supposed to be the Black Seas Barracuda. That was basically the first large-scale LEGO pirate ship we ever got. It actually was re-released in 2004 as a LEGO Legends set because it was so popular, and this is one of the most sought-after LEGO pirate ships ever, and actually got a re-release or a remake in some form with the latest idea set, Pirates of Barracuda Bay. We actually got a revamp of the Black Seas Barracuda ship with modern building techniques, so it is truly a LEGO icon, a LEGO Pirates icon, and it makes sense to include that on the shelf here. Moving on downwards, I'm sure a lot of people will immediately be able to recognize this. This is the classic LEGO Space Galaxy Explorer set. This is pretty much considered to be the quintessential LEGO space set. It's basically the most well-known set. It is the most famous classic spaceship. It kind of dictates the color scheme of all sorts of neo-classic space stuff. It is basically the most recognizable LEGO spaceship ever, so it makes total sense they would include it in this kind of wall of callbacks to LEGO's history. In fact, the design of the ship is so popular that a lot of people have tried their hands at creating modern versions of the Galaxy Explorer set. In fact, I have reviewed or will be reviewing, depending on when that video is scheduled to come out, a revamp of the Galaxy Explorer set, which was actually made by a very talented Monkie, the brick artisan, so stay tuned for that if you want to see a comparison to the original as well as a review of that revamped set. Now this set right here is a bit more of an obscure set. It is one of the oldest LEGO sets. This is specifically supposed to evoke one of the building boxes that they introduced early on for LEGO, where they essentially were just inspiring kids to create their own models. You can see on the side different versions of models that you could create from basically just the standard building bricks, and you can see the exact set it's based off of on screen here, where they've really truly accurately replicated the box art quite well. Moving on downwards, you can see there's still quite a few more sets. This set right here in the display case is, of course, a Monkie Kid set. It is the Monkey King Warrior Mech, which was one of the first mechs they introduced for the Monkie Kid line back in 2020. It is one of basically the icons of the Monkie Kid theme. It's referenced heavily in the show and truly has become an icon of the Monkie Kid theme, which really revolutionized LEGO mech building as we know it today. Next to it, you can see one of the Lunar New Year or Chinese New Year LEGO sets. This specifically is the Spring Lantern Festival Garden set. It is a truly fantastic set that actually appeared on my top 10 best non-licensed sets of 2021 video, which you can also check out linked in the description below. One of my favorite sets and probably one of the best Lunar New Year sets they ever put out, so it makes total sense that they actually would feature it in this build. Moving on downwards, we actually have some more classic LEGO icons. Down here, of course, is the classic yellow castle, which kind of is also another callback to the LEGO 90th anniversary lineup. We've got castle, we've got space, and we've got pirates, and there are a few Bionicle references in the set as well, so all four major winning themes have been represented here. This, of course, is set number 375, the classic yellow castle. It essentially, again, is the quintessential LEGO castle that a lot of people think back to when they're thinking of what truly makes the classic LEGO castle, what does it look like, and of course this was before they had standard gray bricks, so they were just using yellow. And lastly, we have another classic LEGO theme represented in this set. This is the LEGO Adventurers Pharaoh's Expedition or Egypt Expedition lineup of sets. It is featuring the flagship set of the Wave, which you can see right here. One of the largest LEGO Egyptian-style temples they've done basically to this day. Adventurers is a much beloved line in LEGO lore, featuring, of course, LEGO icon Johnny Thunder, and so it makes total sense to include it on this wall. All in all, I think this represents a pretty nicely diverse range of different LEGO icons throughout history. You've got, of course, the main three, castle, space, and pirates, but you also have the girl-oriented main theme Paradisa. You have a set based around these standard building blocks. You have Adventurers, which was one of the first somewhat story-based themes. And of course, you have two somewhat related stuff to Monkie Kid. You have a Monkie Kid set itself, as well as the Lunar New Year set. So, makes total sense they would include this lineup of sets in the LEGO store here, and it's really cool to see these references featured in the model like this. Moving onwards, we can actually see some other references packed within the Lotus Hotel here. The display here is specifically meant to represent a fable in the Chinese Journey to the West storyline that this is based off of. You'll see a lot of references to this scattered throughout the set, but this specifically is referencing some minifigures that actually will be appearing in some other waves of Monkie Kid. And moving on upwards, we have a bit of a painting that isn't really necessarily supposed to represent anything in particular, just a nice painting on the wall, which you can see here. Moving onwards though, there's still a ton of references to get through, so let's rotate this back around and see what else we've got. On the front here, you can see that there is a very large sign advertising a lobster restaurant. Now, the build of this lobster is actually very similar to the LEGO Hidden Inside lobster restaurant build. It is not confirmed that this is a direct reference, but it's close enough that I feel like at least they were borrowing some design similarities to the Hidden Inside lobster restaurant. What's really cool is that they feature a minifigure in a lobster suit, which does not actually exist. I'm hoping that someday we will actually be getting that minifigure, but as of today, we do not know exactly what it's supposed to be referencing because the minifigure has not been released yet. Moving onwards, we have a much more direct reference to an older LEGO theme. This is the much derided Snap theme. If you don't know about it, this was essentially LEGO's attempt to profit off of competitors' style of building techniques. Snap was released at a pretty uncertain time in LEGO's history where they really were being very experimentative. A lot of their experiments worked, like Bionicle, and a lot of their experiments failed, like Snap. So Snap is kind of this failed line of LEGO that is not really looked upon too fondly by AFOLs, but a lot of LEGO designers like to poke fun at it and include references to Snap in LEGO themes. We actually got another Snap reference in the Ninjago City Garden set, which just released last year in 2021, so for whatever reason, LEGO designers seem to really like including it in sets. On the completely opposite end of beloved LEGO themes, we actually have a reference to a beloved LEGO set. As you can see here, first of all, this set features somewhat of a monorail. So you've got this monorail right here that is technically using the roller coaster tracks. It's not really a true monorail, but it essentially is supposed to be a monorail. And as you rotate the building along the side here, you'll notice a very, very familiar logo. This right here is the logo to the classic LEGO Airport Shuttle monorail. It was one of the largest LEGO city-based monorails they ever released, and LEGO only really released 3 monorails. They did 2 for LEGO Space and 1 for LEGO City, the Airport Shuttle. The Airport Shuttle being the largest and most sought after of the monorails makes total sense to include a reference to in the set here, and this is not the only place you'll see the Airport Shuttle logo because, as you can see here, it appears right there with a bit of a map of the entire city itself, which is nice to see. But of course, as we actually move the monorail, there's some actual little stickers inside with the control panel of the monorail there, which you can see, featuring the exact logo just on the top corner of that sticker there. It's really small, but you can kind of make it out. Right there is the classic Airport Shuttle monorail logo, so basically anytime that the monorail is referenced throughout the set, you will see that logo, which is pretty cool for visual consistency. Now, of course, the monorail is a much more direct reference to Monkie Kid itself. It is specifically supposed to be a Pigsy's Restaurant branded monorail. We've gotten a few Pigsy's Restaurant branded vehicles before, such as his food truck. We also got a little bit of a tank for Pigsy that also was featuring a massive ramen bowl, and this again is just more of Pigsy's branding. It seems like he's really infiltrated the Monkie Kid branding world to truly advertise his restaurant well. But speaking of restaurants, there's actually another reference to Monkie Kid, and specifically the television show. Right here you can see an image of one of the villains from the first wave. This is the Bull Demon, featuring some food that he's holding and advertising. This reference actually makes a ton of sense given the context of the show, because specifically in show, the Iron Bull Demon has been reformed. He's no longer really a villain, and now he is just running his own restaurant in the Monkie Kid city. So it makes total sense he also would be advertising his restaurant right here in a billboard that's a little tucked away. Another reference you can see right here on this sticker here is a Havoc in Heaven movie featuring the Monkey King himself and some advertisement for the movie 6D IMAX. This is not really a direct reference to anything in the Monkie Kid show, but it's just supposed to be an in-universe movie featuring the Monkey King, which makes total sense because, of course, the legend of the Monkey King is very, very popular in certain cultural regions, and there's been a lot of movies based off of the specific character. Moving onwards though, we'll get to some references that a lot of Construction fans in the audience, of course myself included, really appreciate. This right here, of course, if you're a Bionicle fan, you've seen this logo before. It is the Borak logo featuring the villains or antagonists of Bionicle in the 2002 lineup. And of course, this here is the Hero Factory logo, which of course Hero Factory being that classic line of construction sets that essentially was released. Not a lot of people were a big fan of Hero Factory because it came right on the heels of Bionicle's cancellation, but I know a lot of construction fans nowadays are coming around to the concept of Hero Factory. It's becoming a much more beloved LEGO theme, which makes sense that they would actually want to reference it in this set. Moving onwards, we have some more references to older LEGO themes. As we pan the camera down here, you'll notice a very interesting character here. This is actually supposed to be the Infomaniac, who was featured in the LEGO Island video game series, which was actually the very first LEGO video game ever created, and he was basically the info guy that you would seek out to ask help. He would give tips in playing the game, and it's really fun to see a caricature of the Infomaniac featured down here with his classic eye logo. Moving onwards, there's still quite a few more references, so let's now actually start to remove a few layers here. Again, what's really nice about this is that the layers can actually be removable, and you can actually combine them with other Monkie Kid style buildings, which I guess is somewhat of a reference in and of itself. But as we remove some of the chunks here, you can see that this whole restaurant just comes right off. But before we actually leave this restaurant, there are a few things that we want to actually take a note of here with the restaurant by itself. First of all, on the top level here, you may notice these are some caricatures or styled depictions of classic Monkey King legendary characters. These are the characters as they were depicted in the Monkey King legend. So you've got Pigsy here and Sandy, but of course in their original Monkey King styled forms. So it's kind of a nice callback to the legend that this is based off of or supposed to be a continuation of. Down here, though, we have a lot of references to Monkey Kid sets and the previous lineups of Monkey Kid stuff. First of all, here we have the horns from the Iron Bull Demons, the very first villains of the wave. We have the second villains of the wave, the spiders, being featured here with some of their poison jars. We have the Bone Demons being represented with the bone skeleton structure here. And we also have a few references to this year's lineup of Monkey Kid. It appears that this year he will be going on some underwater and out-of-space adventures in this season, so we have a breather for Monkey Kid to feature. It actually is featured in some polybags as well for Monkey Kid's underwater journey. And right here we also have some of the mooncakes, which reference the Changi's Mooncake Factory, which again, we just saw on a billboard at the beginning of this video. Setting this aside though, there's still quite a few more references to get into on the main structure here, so let's just dive right into those. First off, let's remove the bubble tea store here. Not a ton of direct references to LEGO stuff on this one, although actually there is somewhat of a reference. This particular building technique of stacking 1x1 plates inside the actual transparent glass window pane here was introduced in the first Ninjago City set in 2017, and it's been something that they've kind of continuing for the styling of this style of sets. So Ninjago City Gardens used it, and this Monkey Kid set uses it as well, which really does tie it kind of directly into the Ninjago City style of stuff. Other than that though, there's not too many references in this bubble tea shop. It is a location that has appeared in the TV show, so there is that, but it of course isn't necessarily referencing anything LEGO related. One more reference is inside the karaoke club here. You can see the Neza minifigure from the Neza's Firing set on screen with another character, which presumably we will be getting in later waves of Monkey Kid. So this is just kind of a reference to characters and things to come in the Monkey Kid lineup. And of course, as we actually move alongside down here, we have some more Monkey Kid characters from the TV show, but also from Chinese mythology as well. So it's cool to see that. Plus, of course, Monkey King himself, who apparently is selling Monkey Kid style, I guess, sunglasses or whatever that's supposed to be. It's just cool to see a bit of an advertisement featuring the Monkey King himself. And lastly, there is, as I mentioned, one more tiny hidden frog in this set. If you remove the buildings here, you'll notice a nicely hidden away nook and cranny here, which this set, surprisingly enough, was not designed by Nick Voss. He did not design this. This was made by Justin Ramsden, but I guess as a nod to his colleague, he included one little frog there, which is a fun display there. As well as you can see here, not really a reference, but these Technic pins are actually supposed to be so you can connect the buildings to themselves and to other buildings in the Monkey Kid range. So I think that's really cool. We'll be talking about this a lot more in my Monkey Kid 2022 Wave 1 review, so be sure to stay tuned for that. But I think it's just a nice inclusion that they put those in. Moving onwards down here, there is a delivery box featured down on the corner there. It's very, very easy to miss, but as we zoom into that delivery box, this is just someone's leftover Pigsy's delivery box, which again is featuring the same exact style of sticker that we've seen on other delivery boxes for Pigsy's restaurant throughout the Monkie Kid theme. Moving onwards, there's a lot more references on the back here. Actually, as we rotate this building around, you'll see here that there's a very interesting panel of some graffitied wall art, just some flyers and stickers, and some very recognizable stuff. So zooming into this panel here, you can see first of all there is a standard advertisement for the Panda Store. So that is the Panda Store that we saw earlier in this review. It is the Panda Store featured along many Monkie Kid sets, so it seems that they have some branding going on there. There's the Monkie Kid logo itself, so that is specifically the logo there. We have, of course, a classic space astronaut featured right there, which is another reference to the 90th anniversary of LEGO. And of course, Bionicle fans, you all know what that is. That is the symbol for the three virtues, unity, duty, destiny of Bionicle lore. For those of you who don't know, it essentially is the main logo of the Bionicle series, and also is a stylized depiction of the galaxy of Spherus Magna, where all of the Bionicle storyline actually takes place. So really awesome to see this logo. We actually saw this logo referenced last year as well on the back of a LEGO City minifigure, so it's really cool that LEGO is actually including some more references to one of their most beloved themes in sets like these. Moving onwards though, we have almost summed up all of the references here, just a few more minor things to go. Down here you can see the exact Pigsy's delivery menu, which has featured in many other Monkie Kid sets, so that is really nice to see there. And of course, as we rotate down here, there's just a few more screens that can be seen, an advertisement for the actual Lantern Festival, which is going on in this city, as well as another map of the city itself, which we have seen before. And of course, there is another stylized monorail logo there, featuring some different references to other regions of LEGO cities. But with that, we have basically summed up almost every single reference in the entire set. There were a lot of really interesting things to see here, and I'm really happy to see so many different references to older LEGO themes and beloved LEGO themes, because of course this does seem to be somewhat of a celebration of LEGO's 90th anniversary this year. One last reference I just realized actually that I forgot to mention, the colors of this can here are the standard Octan colors, which was the gas company or the oil company featured heavily in LEGO City sets, and also the first LEGO movie. Octan was basically Lord Business's company. So nice to see that being referenced just in the color scheme of these barrels here. In terms of the minifigure selection, we have basically just a lot of different Monkie Kid characters as well as some side civilians. However, the references come in the form of these two robots here, which are specifically built to be based off of the classic space robots with a bit of a Spyrius and Explorians twist. You see, back in the original sub-themes of LEGO Classic Space, around the later eras of space, we received a transparent head with almost this exact design. This is kind of a more modernized version of it, but it basically is supposed to be the exact design from the Explorians and Spyrius droids, complete with these transparent neon green studs on the top of their heads. Of course, they wanted to reference these robots in this classic set, so they wanted to actually include a reference to classic space here, which I think is really cool. The robot head itself actually did not debut in this theme. We actually got this robot head in LEGO Creator just last year, which was a very nice inclusion to get as a nod to older LEGO themes, but it makes sense to bring it back for this style of set. And of course, this exact build of robot is the standard classic space robot build, so another reference to LEGO Space itself. And finally, before we wrap up this video, it's probably a good time to take a look at some of the comments that the official LEGO designer for this particular model, Justin Ramsden, made on Twitter regarding the model itself. January 5th was his 7th year anniversary working for LEGO, and as such he wanted to celebrate it by sharing some facts about the latest City of Lantern set, and how some parts of the set are actually Easter eggs to his own life. First of all, the original concept for the city was born when himself and another prominent LEGO designer were discussing with the creative lead of LEGO Monkie Kid if they could include some random side build buildings in other models. And since they love building them so much, they decided to make a city as the next step for the Monkie Kid line. Secondly, due to LEGO designer George Gilliatt's passion for trains and monorails, he was offered to sketch the initial concept for the monorail, and while his version wasn't really themed to Pigsy or anything related to Monkie Kid, his initials were barely included inside the actual set. You can barely see them on one of the smaller stickers as a thank you to his original designs. Also, thanks to the same designer George, the LEGO Spyrius robot head actually did make a return, which he was directly responsible for in the 2021 lineup. Next up, returning to the poster on the back of the graffiti wall art there, you'll notice the panda holding a very particularly colored swirl of ice cream. It specifically is supposed to be a lemon top ice cream, which is a flavor that's actually unique to Justin's home region. Second to last, you can see the exact reason why an extra piece of track was included as an awning on the set. If you own 2 of the sets, you can combine them just like this into a much larger city, which looks really cool, and it's really awesome to see a fully tracked up monorail there with just the awning removed to add extra length to the track. And finally, while this is just the luxurious Lotus Hotel, Justin Ramsden specifically designed it to resemble a massive candle to celebrate the 7th anniversary of his time at the LEGO Group, which is a really nice personal touch for the LEGO designer that really only fans who know of the designer and his background would know about. But with that, we have actually summed up all of the different references and displays that is featured in the Monkie Kid City of Lanterns set. This is one of already my favorite sets of the year. I really do love the design of it and how modular it is. It's really awesome to see all these modules being able to come together. And also, if you want to actually have them assembled with the other Monkie Kid Streetline sets, you can totally do that as well. So really, really great set. I am in love with the amount of detail here. So many references to LEGO themes, and let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of this model? Do you like it? Do you not like it? And do you like the amount of references that can be seen throughout this build? Of course, do let me know as well if I missed any references. There's a lot here, so I wouldn't be surprised if I missed 1 or 2, but to my knowledge, that was basically all of the references that can be found throughout this truly fantastic set. Alright, and with that, we have summed up our look at every single Easter egg and reference in the entire LEGO Monkie Kid City of Lanterns set. Absolutely fantastic set, probably one of my favorite Monkie Kid sets they've ever released to date, and oh boy, there were a lot of references. Personally, I always love it when we see Bionicle references, so was very, very happy to see a lot of those, but it was also really neat seeing the LEGO designer's actual references to his work at the LEGO Group, his own personal background, really nice to see stuff like that, as well as references to other LEGO themes, like the 90th anniversary of LEGO being celebrated this year, with some of the classic themes like space, castle, even Paradisa, and whatnot, all celebrated in one massive set. Do let me know down in the comments below if you enjoyed this video. Let me know if I missed anything too. I'm sure I missed a few things here and there because there's a lot to get covered here, although to my knowledge this was pretty much everything, and let me know if you caught these yourselves. I hope you enjoyed this video and subscribe to Duck Breaks for even more LEGO news, reviews, discussion, and analyses like these coming your way very soon. And stay tuned because in a couple of days we will be posting a mega review showcasing every single LEGO Monkie Kid set released January 1st, 2022. So if you like that sort of thing, stay tuned. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye-bye for now.